Hello everyone and welcome to this section. This section we're going to apply what we learned in the previous exercise, lecture about HOG features to actually implement it within a Python environment and using OpenCV as well to extract HOG features of an image of a truck. Okay? All right, let's get started. So first step, we're gonna load all our libraries, and then we're gonna load our truck image. And that's our image of a truck. And our objective of this exercise is just to obtain the HOG features out of this basically truck. Okay, let's again show the image here. Again, the colors are messed up because we use OpenCV. And then afterwards, here we're gonna convert the image into grayscale. Okay, we convert it. And then here we show the image again. And then let's see, how can we, just kind of a refresher for us, how can we obtain the gradients for the Sobel X and Sobel Y? If you guys remember, we can apply cv2.sobel, okay, on the image, and then we can detect if we're going to do it in the X direction or the Y direction. So if we use 0 and 1, that will indicate X Sobel, which is the gradient in the X direction. And here you can simply plot it. Let's run it. And that's the Sobel in the X direction. And then here you can apply the Sobel in the Y directions, indicating the gradients along the Y axis. All right, perfect. The next step is we're going to perform what we call a histogram of oriented gradients. Again, it's very simple. You guys can use HOG. Okay, and what we're going to do here, we're going to pass along the image. We're going to specify the orientations, which is simply how many angles you would like to have, which is how, if you guys remember, we represent every kind of group, every cell, okay, into kind of a star, right? How many angles are you looking for? So here I'm looking for 9 orientations. Here you specify how many pixels per cell. So what's the dimensions of our cell? If you guys remember, we had that cell that extracts 1 star per each. If you guys remember, that's pretty much the dimensions. So here is 16 by 16. How many cells per block? Here I'm not going to dig into like the details of that. It's a little bit confusing. Here I'm just going to make it a little bit as simple as possible, and then moving forward, we'll see how can we kind of build upon it moving forward. Here we're just going to assume that cells per block is 1 by 1. All right, and then afterwards, let's run it and see what's going to happen. And that's pretty much what we get here. These are kind of the feature shapes, okay? So you come up with the dimension of the feature 42 by 59, and here you have the 9 orientations, all right? Okay, let's take a look at one of the features. So here you extract any random features. This kind of the colors, this kind of the features that we get, for example, at this specific location, let's say 30, 50, and all. That's pretty much the 9 values you're going to get. This is kind of the histogram. If you guys remember, we had the histogram that we plotted at different angles. That's pretty much what we're getting. So these are 9 values indicating the magnitude of my features. Okay, let's run it one more time. That's kind of the image. Here, what we're going to do here, okay, that's very important. What I'm going to do here, you're going to take my HOG image, which is what I wanted to plot, but instead of plotting it directly, what I'm going to do, we're going to change or rescale or change the intensity just to make it a little bit pop up so you can actually see these different, kind of stars or HOG features that we had. So we're going to use exposure. First, we're going to import it from SK image. We're going to import the exposure, and then we're going to run exposure.rescale intensity. And here we're going to, again, call the image, which is HOG image, which is kind of return, which one of the arguments we're going to get out of HOG command. And then let's run it, and and that will show us pretty much kind of our truck. And how can we do it? How can we see it in a kind of a more higher intensity values after we apply the exposure or intensity or rescale intensity function in here? Okay, all right, that's pretty interesting. So now we can actually take all these HOG features, all these values, all these numbers, which looks weird, kind of to humans. We can take it, feed it into a machine learning classifier to actually detect different objects, cars, trucks. You can detect whatever you want. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that section, and see you in the next section.